Hi, my name is Zichi and I am a nutritionist. Welcome back to my health channel. Today we are going to talk about the immune system. Now, why are we talking about this topic? I'm sure that all of you know that the COVID-19 cases in Malaysia is rising very rapidly, and every day there are thousands of people being diagnosed with COVID-19. And in the community, it is spreading like wildfire. I'm sure you have heard of your friends talking about someone that they know being diagnosed with COVID-19, or maybe someone around you being infected with this disease. Hence, the risk of infection is very high. Now, apart from sanitizing our hands and washing our hands, as well as wearing a mask and practicing social distancing, we should know that the ultimate line of defense is our immune system, because the immune system is our body's best doctor. In fact, at every minute and every second, foreign invaders such as bacteria, viruses, and even dust are invading our body. And at every second, our immune system is working very hard to protect our body from all these foreign invaders. Now, if these foreign invaders enter into our body, it is able to identify them as well as eliminate them instantly. Now, there are three components in the immune system. Firstly, organs and tissues, immune cells, as well as immunologically active substances. Now, organs and tissues such as our bone marrow is like the factory in our body. Its responsibility is to produce immune cells. And immunologically active substances are the substances produced by immune cells that also exerts immune effects. There are two types of immune system. Firstly, the innate immune system, and secondly, acquired immune system. Innate immune system, also known as genetic immunity, is the immunity that we are born with. Its response is non-specific and it responds the same to all different types of foreign invaders. Whereas on the other hand, acquired immune system, also known as adaptive immunity, is the immunity that we acquire upon exposure to antigen, be it from vaccine or pathogen. Now, its response is specific. It only responds to targeted antigens that it is exposed to. Now, here you can see is a diagram of various different types of blood cells in our body, and it all originates from the bone marrow. But in regards to today's topic, which is to protect our body from viruses, the cells that plays a big role in protecting our body from viruses are mainly the macrophages as well as the lymph cells. This includes our T cells, B cells, antibodies, as well as lymphokines. Now, the body has three lines of defense to prevent foreign invaders from entering our body and harming us. The first line of defense includes our physical barriers, such as our skin and mucous membranes, as well as chemical barriers, which are our secretions. For example, the tears in our eyes. Now, the tears in our eyes also has antimicrobial properties. Now, if the first line of defense are unable to stop these foreign invaders, then we have our second line of defense. Our second line of defense includes antimicrobial proteins as well as phagocytes. Phagocytes is able to engulf these foreign invaders, meaning it eats them. So these two line of defenses are our innate immunity. And usually, these two lines of defenses, if they are strong and healthy, they are able to stop these foreign invaders from harming our body. But in the case where these two lines of defenses are not enough and these pathogens are able to further harm our body, then we have our third line of defense. Our third line of defense is our adaptive immunity. It includes B cells, T cells, lymphocytes, as well as antibodies. Now, the response for the third line of defense usually takes up to a few days. Why? This is because its response is more complex than our innate immunity, which is our first and second line of defense. These two lines of defense response is immediate upon exposure to the antigen. The adaptive immune system has to go through 3 stages before it can exert its immune effects. So the first stage includes the recognition phase. Now this is the phase where the antigen is presented and recognized, meaning that the body recognizes that this is a foreign invader. Now when it recognizes it, it will enter the activation phase, where B cells and T cells proliferate and differentiate, meaning there's an increase in number of B cells and T cells, as well as forming various forms of B cells and T cells. For example, killer T cells, helper T cells, as well as memory T cells. Now, memory cells are what's special about our adaptive immunity. It allows the body to recognize the virus or the pathogen, and when the next time it encounters this same known virus or pathogen, it is able to exert immune response faster. The last phase is the effector phase. This is the stage where the T cells, B cells, antibodies, as well as lymphokines exert its immune effects. It kills off the virus or pathogen. Now notice that the first step in any immune response is the ability to recognize the antigen. So if your body's recognition ability is impaired, then it will cause various autoimmune diseases such as lupus as well as IgA nephropathy. Now, IgA nephropathy is a type of kidney disease where IgA, your body's antibody, immunoglobulin A, harms your kidneys. And vaccines for COVID-19 is getting more and more available all over the world. And vaccines work on the basis of our adaptive immunity. Vaccines contains a harmless or weakened version of the virus. Now, once vaccinated, your body recognizes that the proteins does not belong into your body, and it will start producing T cells as well as memory cells. And next time when you're infected, the memory cells are able to fight it and respond to it. So the first step of how vaccines work is your body's ability to recognize these proteins. So if your body's recognition ability is impaired, healthcare professionals advises that at this point of time, it is best not to take the vaccination. Now that we have a basic understanding of how our immune system works, the next thing that we are going to talk about is the coronavirus disease. Now, the virus cannot pierce through our normal healthy skin. It can only enter into our body through the mucous membranes of our eyes, nose, and mouth. This is why it is very important that we wash our hands frequently and don't use dirty hands to touch our faces as well as rub our eyes. Now, people infected with this disease have varying degrees of symptoms. Some only have fever or mild cough, but in serious cases, they will develop pneumonia or even causing death. While the severity of this infection is differences in severity of this infection is multifactorial, it is likely that immunity provides the underpinning given its central role in response to viral infections. On top of that, there are also other factors that can increase a risk of an individual from getting infected. For example, older people, pregnant women, as well as people with pre-existing medical conditions, usually chronic diseases such as cancer, chronic kidney disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, heart diseases, and even type 2 diabetes. Now, this is the study that is published in Eurasian Journal of Medicine and Oncology. The study is regarding pre-existing medical conditions and COVID-19 death rate. So according to the study, the top 5 pre-existing medical conditions with the highest death rate includes cardiovascular disease, diabetes, chronic respiratory disease, hypertension, as well as cancer. So results show that cardiovascular disease, meaning people prior to getting infected by COVID-19, they already have pre-existing cardiovascular disease. their death rate is 10.5%. Now what this means that in 100 people getting infected by COVID-19 and has passed due to COVID-19, slightly more than 10 of them has cardiovascular disease prior to the infection. For diabetes, it is 7.3%, chronic respiratory disease and hypertension approximately 6%, and cancer 5.6%. On the other hand, a healthy individual, someone who does not have any pre-existing medical conditions prior to getting infected by COVID-19, their death rate is only less than 1%. So, in conclusion, if you have a pre-existing medical condition, you should take extra precautionary measure to protect yourself during this pandemic. Now, what are the affected areas of this virus? When this virus enters into our body, what areas does it affect? So usually what we can hear is our lungs, our respiratory tract, including our mouth and our nose, causing us to have difficulty in breathing, losing sense of taste, sense of smell, and so on. It actually also affects our brain, our kidney, heart, blood vessels, liver, as well as gastrointestinal tract, causing problems like stroke, kidney failure, liver inflammation, diarrhea, and so on. You can see that it affects many areas in our body. This is why it is a very deadly virus. So how can we prevent ourselves from being infected by coronavirus? Firstly, is to definitely carry out preventative measures, wearing a mask, sanitizing our hands, and practicing social distancing. We should also adopt a healthy lifestyle, because a healthy lifestyle can strengthen our immune system and maintain proper immune function. This includes sleeping well, sleeping adequately at least 7 hours a day, and sleeping at the right times, exercising regularly, reducing stress, as well as eating a healthy and balanced diet. Do you know that there are certain vitamins and minerals as well as nutrients that are very beneficial for our immune system? Now the next thing that we are going to dive into are what are the nutrients that can benefit our immunity. So a balanced diet is very important for proper immune system function. This includes our macronutrients, fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, as well as our micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. So in regards to immunity, vitamins and minerals particularly have many beneficial roles. So when we are talking about strengthening our immune system and maintaining a proper immune function, we should first focus on our first and second line of defense. Why? This is because first and second line of defense, as I've said previously, provides us an immediate response, and it is the first thing that a virus encounters. So in regards to our first line of defense, includes our mucous membrane as well as our respiratory tract, because this is the entry pathway of the virus. So for protecting our mucous membrane, the sole vitamin that is beneficial is our vitamin A. And for respiratory tract infections, it includes vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, copper, and magnesium. So for the second line of defense is our phagocytes. Our phagocytes also has A, C, E, selenium, iron, copper, and zinc. Now when these two lines of defense is unable to inhibit the virus, then we will need our third line of defense, and that includes our T cells and antibodies. And this virus, it mainly targets our lungs. So what should we do? We should strengthen our lungs. So for strengthening our lungs, we have vitamin A, zinc, magnesium, and even coenzyme Q10. So all in all, for a proper and healthy immune system, there are many vitamins and minerals that are beneficial. And this even includes our EPA and DHA as well as glutathione. If you can notice, there is a common similarity in all of these nutrients. That is various types of antioxidants, a multi-antioxidants. Almost all of these functions requires antioxidants such as vitamin A and vitamin E as well as vitamin C. So it's not solely just one vitamin that is beneficial for our immune system. All these vitamins work hand in hand together to maintain and strengthen our immunity. So what if 3 lines of defenses are unable to inhibit this virus and we are infected? What can we do? Well, we can at least try to inhibit the invasion of the virus into our healthy cells, as well as suppress the replication of this virus. So the vitamins such as vitamin B, vitamin D, as well as minerals such as zinc, and especially cat's claw is able to do just that. So studies have shown that cat's claw is able to prevent the maturation of this virus, meaning that it can limit the spread of infection in our body. It can also inhibit the replication of this virus. In conclusion, if you ask me, is there such thing as 100% prevention? But to be frank and honest, the answer is a definite no. But what we can do is we can reduce the risk of infection by washing our hands frequently, as well as wearing a face mask. We can also reduce the risk of severity of this disease. I'm sure a lot of you are waiting for vaccines. But before we actually get vaccinated, which could take up to a few months, and at this period of time, the risk of infection is still there. But if we can ensure that we have a proper functioning and healthy immune system, we can reduce this risk. On top of that, when it is our time to get vaccinated, a healthy immune system is able to ensure that vaccines can work well within our body, as well as reduce the side effects caused by vaccines. So all in all, just by ensuring that we have proper nutrition for a healthy immune system, we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We can reduce the risk of infection. We can also ensure that vaccines are effective for us. And for those with chronic diseases such as diabetes or hypertension, if you want to know more on how you can prepare yourself, you can call this number or WhatsApp us to get a free one-to-one health consultation. If you like my video today, do follow our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and press this notification bell so you do not miss out on any future contents from us. Vigor Ace, your health, our mission.